The Montreal Canadiens' second-line center position has been a topic all offseason. They've made some really, really good moves. They got Bolduc, they got Noah Dobson, which was just an excellent move by them. But this is always going to be an issue. Now, here's the thing. Their second-line center position doesn't have to be a weakness. They have players that, if possible, perform properly. They absolutely could make the Montreal Canadiens have a very good second line, especially with some excellent wingers like Bolduc and Ivan Demidov. They could be a lot better than you think. It doesn't have to be a weakness. They just need certain players to show up and play good. We're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be talking about some really interesting trade rumors in this video, guys. But welcome back to Pixel Plus Hockey. If you can make sure to hit that subscribe button, it would be so greatly appreciated. And honestly, just so humbling for all the support that I've gotten to this point. Thank you so much. Now, there was a while there where I was actually getting a little bit worried about Kirby Dach, and I was getting a little bit of comments from people. Well, why are you worried about Kirby Dach if, you don't like Kirby Dach? It's not that I think Kirby Dach is a horrible player. I don't think he is. I just don't envision him being a second-line center for a Stanley Cup winning Montreal Canadiens team. That's what I'm trying to say. When I think about any team that I'm analyzing, I think about, is this player fitting in this position to win a Stanley Cup? You have to have a Stanley Cup mindset when talking about players. However, Dach's health and Dach being able to perform for the Montreal Canadiens, because they didn't get a center, might I add, is going to be absolutely paramount for the Montreal Canadiens season. And Dach as a fill-in center can be good. I don't think it's impossible. If Dach is healthy, he can score 50 points, especially with the good wingers that Montreal does has. Is that really that impossible? But of course, his health does worry me. We didn't even see him hardly back in the ice. I really like to see videos of players and how they're performing and how they are looking. And now we do have more information on the Habs Reddit one day ago. Kirby Dach is back on the ice this morning. And honestly, when I saw this, I was like, woof, okay, that looks better. Now, in this clip, he is testing out his knee. He clearly is doing training on his knee and putting pressure specifically on his knee, which is a great thing. He needs to work out that knee. He needs to get that knee going, because if he doesn't, he's gonna look pretty bad in the National Hockey League. There were some people in the comments of this post saying that he looks slow. I don't really think so. Again, you have to understand, he was specifically training his knee. So when you look at the clip, don't over-exaggerate it. It is what it is. It's not like a huge deal. But I'm just really hoping for his health this season, because unless they get a center within the next month or, a month and a tiny bit, we really need Dach to be really good for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, we do know that it's not really a guarantee that Kirby Dach is going to be ready for the season, which I'm fine with. I understand he's going to be important for the Habs season, but you need to make sure he's good. Do not put him back in. Just God, if he needs even another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks even, just keep him out until he is fine. That's how pivotal this player is going to be this season. And you know what? We'll do question of the video right now. Drop it in the comments, guys. How many points do you think Kirby Dach is going to score this season? I think if Kirby Dach is actually healthy, he can score between 45 to 50 points, which is fine enough for a second line, especially when he has proper wingers to play with, and the Montreal Canadiens have a lot of really good wingers. Now let's shift gears and talk about a center trade target that the Montreal Canadiens may be actually interested in, and then we'll go from there, because on the Sick podcast with Tony Marinaro, they brought up another really interesting name, and we have a very interesting quote here. On Thursday's episode of the Sick podcast with Tony Marinaro, TSN's Travis Yost mentioned a few underrated names that could be of interest to the Montreal Canadiens on the trade market as potential trade targets. One of those names was Pavel Zacha from the Boston Bruins. With the Bruins' current surplus of second-line centers, as well as a likely situation of doing a rebuild/retool, they may be looking to part ways with one of those centers for reasonably priced futures. Close quote. For when it comes to the Boston Bruins, I think that they're going to be in a rebuild. I really don't think they're going to be in a retool. This is going to be a team that I think the Montreal Canadiens should target. Now, I understand people might say, well, Pavel Zacha, meh. I think he's pretty good. I like Pavel Zacha. He's got size. He can score 55 or 60 points. He's got defensive acumen. He's pretty good. Like, you know, he chugs around out there a little bit, but he's still a good quality NHL centerman. And in this article, this is another really, really good point that I like. Given how Michael Hage should be ready to be a second-line center in about 2 or 3 years, the Habs only need a stopgap for the time. Zacha currently has 2 years left on his contract with the Bruins, which pays him $4.75 million a season. This means Zacha would fit the 2-year stopgap and would be a very reasonable contract with a second-line center during that time, whereas Lindholm's contract has 6 years left at $6.75, and for what he currently brings may be the Bruins' worst contract, close quote. That is very, very fair. I don't think that they should. They don't want to blow their brains out with one. You know what I mean? They don't want to do something like this, right? Where they're getting a player that is just almost too much. Because I do think that they want to leave the door open for Michael Hage. I don't think he's ready yet. I want to see him play in pro hockey. I want to see him play in the American Hockey League. I want to get a gauge of how he's performing at what level, at what age, right? So he's still pretty young, and if we can get him in the American Hockey League and he's performing quite well, that is a really, really good indication for how Michael Hage is going to be in his career. I'm actually pretty excited about this player for sure. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to leave this video here. If you can make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it, guys, and make sure to have a great day. Goodbye, guys.